Professor. We want to make a show where we also, along other than it, doesn't mention maybe any other thing we do. We discuss democracy and governance. And I'm here. My name is Malakai Motano, and my co-host.
And my name is Maurice Momani, ready to take on Professor Prof OGOLLA on different issues touching on our country. Welcome, somebody. Yeah, Momani, by the way, I remember when I was growing up in Kibera, there was a shop in Kibera where we used to buy all our household goods. It was owned by a Momani. Economy of Kibera is that when you go to buy, you usually take goods in credit. So if you take goods in credit, when my father gets money, he has the other and then again with credit again. So Momani was our credit friend. He's the reason I'm here, because he even gave me in credit. Maybe I could have just suffered malnutrition. So I'm happy to be here with the Momani. Let me hear that. Yes. Thank you so much. Until I thought Momani means a rich person. I don't know what it means in Kisi. Momani means a mutu and a you and Mumanya. Oh yeah. Yes, yeah. Let me tell you, some of these African names, you don't take them for granted.
This is all we are going to have in the show. Hi brother, what do you know about the before it comes in?
Yes, the has been a strong component of human circles. Because Professor OGOLLA has been in the forefront fighting for the rights of the common minority.
Yes. What do you want Professor to tell us?
So, thank you for coming again. Yeah. You've been a strong agitator. You've been agitating for a number of issues in this government and even in previous governments. So, what's that you are currently taking the current Kenya Kwanza government to task about in brief? Currently, what are you agitating? Yeah, currently, what teaches me is that when you walk in together, like now, today I have an office next to together. And when you walk around there, you see Kenyans really struggling very hard to make their ends meet. Someone is selling maize. Can you imagine? When you're selling maize, this is 40 bob, roasted maize. How many maize do you need to sell to make net profit enough to take it to school? You ask me. Because when you go to buy roasted maize is 40 bob. How much maize do you need to buy to sell before you can make profit? But every year, somebody has stolen 1 billion. Can you imagine that Kenyans, that's where the economy is. Someone is selling sukumaliki. Sukumaliki, if you put 5 of them together, a piece is 40 bob. Tell me how many pieces you need to buy or sell before you actually can make a living. So life is hard, truth be said. The Kenya shillings value has dropped. Like today, during the press, I talked about the issue of the purchasing power. The purchasing power of the Kenya shilling has dropped to something like 67%. So it means that any money you have with you cannot be sufficient for anything. So the life is hard. And I'm trying to put Kenya to task that Kenyan leaders, let us focus on that right now. So I'm not only putting task the Kenya Kwanza government, I'm also putting task even the opposition. Because at the moment, what is important is that the current government must succeed. Why must they succeed? If they fail, they'll fail. Because the person who is sleeping hungry now are sleeping hungry right now, they're going to sleep hungry tonight. The person who has nowhere to sleep, they're sleeping in the cold tonight. The person who cannot afford clothes, they're actually suffering from cold tonight. The kid who can't go to school, anyone who cannot have education, their future is being wasted today. And then remember that while that is taking place, we're having people who are still debating about 2027. They want the president to fail so that they can be relevant in 2027. My question as a leader who is getting into Kenya is that anybody, whatever you have, bring it together so that we can succeed today, so that we can survive. Look here, Momani. If you walk in these streets where we are on Jogoro, if you walk here, if you dress in a suit like me, you'll see somebody asking you for money. Not because they want, they have nothing in their stomach. Even if you are a billionaire, how can you be a billionaire among where everyone is rich? If you are a billionaire where everyone is rich, it's okay. But if you are a billionaire where everybody is poor, everybody is begging, any place you drive, the watchman has not had his salary. Where you drive, that mama has not had food for your children. Any child looking at you, even if you cannot even take a banana and eat when walking, because everyone's saying, how have you got this banana? How can you be rich when everybody around is poor? That's why I propose that we should work towards a welfare state. A welfare state is where everybody has got the minimum. Now, if you have on top of minimum, it's okay. But you cannot be in a state where everybody has nothing and you have maximum. And I said a nation where we have few billionaires and 0 millionaires around you. And the welfare state like the Germany, you go to Norway, you go to Sweden, there is more happiness in them, which means people are happier being in those countries than where we are. So we want to move there. America has very few billionaires and not many rich people, and the happiness index of America is below that of Norway, below that of Germany and the rest. And this journey should start now, because Kenya has enough for all our needs, but not enough for all our needs.
Let's say whatever you are talking of today, what problem do you have with the last presidential address, state of the nation address?
Well, the thing is that, the book I wrote called Solomonic Economics, which is going to be the game changer in this country, because that discussion will be done from now until 2027. The Solomonic economic model says that world-class wealth begins with world-class thinking. That's one thing. Then secondly, to achieve world-class standard, you begin with objective reality. Why am I trying to say so? Remember, where me and you are, we must have one day sat down and discovered where we are and agreed that we are not in a good position. And we need to move on from there. So when the president says, we have made good progress, I had a problem with that. When the president said, we are moving in the right direction, I had a problem with that. Why? People can't eat. Everything has gone up. Where is the president getting statistics from? That's why I asked him, Mr. President, go and talk to Kenyans. The way you talk to them, the Kenyan president, ask them, are you better off today than yesterday? Because if you ask any woman, man on the street, today is 13th of November, isn't it? Ask them how they were last year, 13th of November, they tell you they are worse off today than that day. So progress means what? Are we moving in the right direction? So I'm trying to say, let us objective reality know that Kenyan economy is in some challenge and needs to be addressed like yesterday. That is very key. So when he says that we are in a good progress, that is why I had an issue. Nevertheless, the president says something which I pick up, and I want us as a nation to really debate about it. He says, let's pull together. And let's pull together means what? The president must discover that alone he can't fix the Kenyan issue. Because before he thought anajua kila kitu, nimepanga, nitapanga, amepanga sasa for more than 1 year and nothing imepangika. Ni kama anajipanga na haipangiki. So let's pull together, tupange pamoja sasa. Ndio tunasema let's put our minds together. That means that I want the president do the following. Let him explain to us, what does pull together mean? Does it mean that he wants civil society to come in, religious leaders to come in, private sector to come in? We want youth to come in, wakina mama to come in. Do you want elder people to really give advice? Do you want to call Uhuru Kenyatta in retirement to give you some of his news, what worked for him? Do you want to consult those who work in Kibaki's cabinet to help you out? Kenyan professionals like economists like me, governors like me, do need to come help, because you have a cabinet which looks like one of the most incompetent cabinets in my life. In the lifetime of Kenya, it is the most incompetent cabinet. Tell me now, if you sit there as president, let me ask you now, Matano Malakai, if you're the president and you're sitting with Aisha Jumwa, Moses Korea, Linturi, What advice can they give you to run the economy? So that's where the president needs to start with. What is your team that wants to win this? If you want to win a football match, you have to have a good team to win the match. So the question is, for me, is that pulling together means what? And then the president, after identifying that he wants all this, to tell us, what do you want from private sector? What should they do for you? Stop competing doing business then by doing G to G oil deal, isn't it? Let private sector do what they're best at. Let civil society tell you what you need to do. Let judiciary do their part. Let parliament do their part. Because I can tell you, my brother, in this country, we have two enemies and we have two friends. You want to know those? Yes. The two enemies are the people. The problem began, the Kenyan problem, the economic problem began with this government. 1992, it was planted. Youth for KANU 92, and KANU was made stronger, and KANU was ruled for 1 million years, and that's what they having. So all those people who have been KANU in and out, they were the one who planted our problem, because that's when corruption was planted. The youth for KANU 92 ripped the country off. The most corrupt leaders were manufactured in 1992. Now the second problem, the second enemy is this. Anybody who has been inside government, waking up today and telling you now they can solve the Kenya problem, those are also another enemy. Who are these people? In the year 2008, who was in government? Kibaki was the president. But all these guys in Kenya Kwanza and Azimio were in government in a big way. Remember, the president, current president, was the minister for education and minister for agriculture, isn't it? Yes. Kalonzo Musyoka in Azimio was the vice president, second in command to Kibaki. What did he do? Raila Odinga was the prime minister, equally powerful, even with red carpet, isn't it? Toilets everywhere he went. He was the prime minister. He could do something for the country. What did he ask him? Martha Karua in Azimio was the minister for justice on constitutional affairs. Now they are crying that there is no justice in Kenya. They cannot even go to Supreme Court. They can't trust Supreme Court. So all those people, Musalia Mudavadi was deputy prime minister. Are you getting all those names? Yes. Moses Wetangula was the minister for foreign affairs. No, you can count all of those guys. They were all there. Now I can tell you that they are the cause of our problem. They cannot be a solution. And I'm telling people, and I can tell you this for sure, if Kenyans wake up, they should know that a new face should come in. Because there is no new face since 1992. Tell me this new face since 1992. Now they tell you Kenyans like people lie to them. Politicians are telling you lies that Kenyans don't like people tell the truth. They like people lie to them. Why are they saying that? Because if the population buy it, then it is good for them. So Kenyans are going to tell them solomonically that we have been lied for and we discover lies won't help. So we're going to come to be told the truth. Who must we listen to? And I tell you, there will be a wave, new wave coming. Any good politician will go home. Because politicians are good in lying and entertaining and making shout, kelala, tipping, bam bam. Now, can you eat tipping? Can you eat kelala? Can tipping pay school fees? Huh? Now what can pay school fees is economics. And that's why we talk about Solomonic economics, meaning rule of wisdom. That does not mean you must be a professor. You don't have to graduate. Solomon never graduated from university, so we need to use wisdom. So I'm trying to tell you in short, my main trouble is those two enemies. Let me just finish the friends. The two friends of this. The first friend is decency. Decency means that we treat everybody with respect. First of all, I don't lie to you, I tell you the truth. Secondly, if you're a president, do your role. Don't behave like a businessman. In this country, 98% of businesses are run by politicians. I mean my point. Leaving any other Kenyan with no opportunity to run business. Now, I'm sorry. Pango Radio, isn't it? Yes. Now, tell me, do you know who leads the media houses? KTN Standard is owned by who? Isn't it? Yes. Go to Nation Media Group. You'll see there's a political connection there. Yes. Go to all media services. Isn't it? They sponsor or not sponsor politicians. So, and then you can go across the board that 98% of business are controlled by politicians. Who is the largest land owner? Is a politician, isn't it? Who is the largest owner in real estate? Politician. So now those are the things they're trying to say, that politicians will not fix our problem And we need to vote in experts, like economic experts, governance experts, and understand how governance is done, understand how economics are done.
Sorry for cutting you short. President Uhuru, when he took power for the first time, he tried to do away with the politicians at the executive level. And after some time, he actually picked technocrats. But as he continued, it's like he saw there's nowhere technocrats were going to. And you have to bring in the politicians. So if it is politics that determines the development in Kenya, then what hope do we have? Do we have any hope? Because politics has led us to where we are today. Technocrats have no say.
Yeah, you see, today in my press I say Kenya must embrace meritocracy. Meritocracy is where people are appointed on the basis of qualification, competence. So inclusivity of competence, not inclusivity of political affiliation, tribal affiliations, age affiliation, religious affiliation. We only pick people based on their competence. Why they could not function within that government was that some politicians were more powerful in that cabinet, but they could not allow the technocrats to work. So for example, Balala was a politician, isn't it? So there was nothing you could tell Balala. CS essentially says this, and he says, I can't do that, and happen. Now, let me tell you what. We have some technocrats in the government, isn't it? Somebody like T.S. Omolo is not a politician, but now he has been forced to become a politician. That's why he's organizing for Ruto people in the Lone Lake region. I'm telling you that the day Kenyans will wake up and do the magic that happens in Singapore, that's it. So what I'm trying to say, we get a government we deserve. But I'm telling you, I'm talking to Kenyans because they are looking at things very differently. They are looking at things very, very differently. I told you for the first time I was in Kondele, and I told the Luo nation in Kondele that Raila Odinga has liberated them politically because ODM is the largest company in Luo nation. But now they need economic liberation, whereby we need to have companies in Luo nation, not political parties in Luo nation. So in Luo Nyanza, there's competition between political parties. In Central, there's competition among companies like Equity Bank, Jamibora, Coop Bank. They are competing on which company will be the largest. For us, we are competing on which political party is the most dominant. That's why Luos are poor. And Luos are not poor because they are stupid. Luos are poor because some people have been brainwashing them that it's only when they get politics right they'll survive. So I disagree that politics is the only way. If you go to Singapore, Singapore has elected the president as the most qualified economist in Singapore, is now the next president of Singapore. For us, we are looking for the most maligning, the most misleading politician, the one who can deceive people until people believe that darkness is light. So long as we have used Solomonic economic model, we shall see darkness from light and choose light over darkness. Because Solomonic says that Ekima Mashinani, what is the local wisdom of Luo people there? What has worked for Luos? Luos have tried because of their head. Alwyn Scoville, Tom Boyer, Robert Ouko. They were people who are geniuses. They were not there because they knew how to cheat people. Did you ever meet Ouko? You never did. When I heard about him, he was a genius guy. Tom Boyer wrote the Constitution single-handedly. That's a genius. Alvin Kodek was the first Kenyan or African to have been to a bar. Those are geniuses. So now we have been saying, if you are clever but you have no money, you are useless. But if you have money and you're stupid, you're useful. We cannot replace money with competence. And I've told people that formula has never worked. Where the one with the highest amount of money should win the seat, the one with no money, with intelligence, should not win a seat. So Luos are looking at these things differently. I'm sure Akambas look at it differently. Mulu Mutesia was a very key guy, isn't it? He barely would be able to speak any English, but he has been immortalized, isn't it? So people are looking and saying, young people who are the biggest voter in 2027 will vote out politicians and bring in people who are competent. And so long as competence is their criteria for winning election, now the political side will go down. So that time is coming. Because electing incompetent people smells in your house, isn't it? You go to the supermarket, you see the smell of incompetence. You go to hospital, you see the smell of incompetence. You go to school, you see that even teachers, look here, man. Look at the presidential party. People advise the president to put junior secondary inside the primary school. Do you know, as a professor, there's something really wrong with that? Do you know what's wrong with it? The head teacher is a P1 teacher, isn't it? The teachers who teach in junior secondary are graduates. That is a fundamentally wrong thing. How incompetent was it to make that decision public? So I'm trying to tell you, Kenyans will see this incompetence. In fact, at the moment, anybody incompetent, Kenyans don't know. They've seen it. That's why they don't give even time for some people to speak in public. I don't want to mention their name, but I'm telling you, we are moving there because Solomonic economics is knowledge-based economy. And I'm going to survive this. And I didn't tell you the second enemy, the second friend. The first one I said is decency. Let people do their part. You are a media house, do your work. Everybody do their work decently, respectfully, playing by the rules, isn't it? Whereby MPs should be MPs also not running CDF. Now, when you are an MP, oversighting budget, again you are given a budget to run, those are conflicting roles. You should be an MP without looking for money for CDF. In fact, many MPs who are non-performers have come back in Bunge because they have used CDF to bribe. And it's difficult to unseat a non-performing MP because they have CDF money. So let us remove those things and distinguish them. I also believe that everyone should be put under public service payroll. Not there are too many conflicting people where we have too many ghost workers everywhere, money is being lost. So that's what I call decency. The second thing is not opportunity. People just need opportunity. I can tell you, my brother Malachi, I grew up in Kibera. My father was a trafficker. We were 11 kids. My father earned 1,500 children. No one did anything magical. Someone gave me an opportunity. I did KCP. I was the best student in Siaya. I got a scholarship to remain in Siala. And from there, all my degrees, I'm sure you've heard about them. I have 5 undergraduate degrees. I never paid a single dime for them. I have 2 master degrees. One of them in Europe. I never paid a dime for it. I have a PhD from the 4th best business school in the world. I never paid a dime for it. I have 14, 16 World Bank certifications. I never paid a coin for it. But these opportunities exist. People need to be given these opportunities. People are being told for short-term things. People giving you handouts never help you. Someone who gives you inspiration, like I'm telling you now, the biggest gift someone can give you is inspiration. My father inspired me. He never left for me any house, no land, no. In fact, the title deed for land, I don't know where it is. I don't know how it's called. But he inspired me. And inspiration will help us to go further rather than someone telling you, Chukua hustler and your 500 shillings. That is actually taking you back. I am better than a hustler. In fact, in 2027, no one will ever want to be called a hustler. We want to be Solomonics. All of us want to be Solomonics. We cannot be taken to become hustlers. So for me, that is the main thing. So those are the 2 enemies and 2 friends.
Thank you very much, Prof, for that. I have a question for you concerning this Kenya Kwanza government.
Yeah.
It came to power on the background, on the backdrop of many promises to improve the lives of the hustlers, the so-called hustlers. But now, when they came into power, they have introduced so many, their own taxation spree, you can say. So what is this element of taxation that you strongly find fault with? And why?
You know, I will tell you that when our politicians campaign, they compare Kenya and paint an image of Singapore, Japan, South Korea, Germany. They tell you how you can become like Germany, where all of us will own cats and dogs and walk on the streets, where they can have water to drink and graze. Can you imagine how they paint that picture? But immediately they take over government, they start telling you, no, we are better than Sudan, or we are better than Uganda, we are better than DRC Congo. That's what I'm trying to say. In 2027, everyone should never listen to anybody who tells them about Singapore. I'm telling about Singapore because they are saying so on taxation. Singapore is the best example. In Singapore, people leave setting up business in UK and go to Singapore because of one. The fiscal policy is very clear and stable. For us in government, we are running the fiscal policy on wait and see. Wait and see means you don't know what
fuel will be tomorrow, isn't it? Your petrol can be 300, so today is 270, 217, isn't it? Do you know when it will be 300? Now, let me ask you, will you be driving to Kisii for Christmas? It depends on the cost of fuel. If it is 500, utakula hapa tu. Sivyo? If it goes down to 150, you'll drive there, isn't it? So no one can even plan for holiday. An economy must be predictable. We cannot be an economy of wait and see. So that's why I said today, me, I want the president to succeed. I'm advising you, Mr. President. Let us help you to stabilize the economy so that we can have a fiscal policy, and we talk about fiscal policy and foreign policy, so that you don't travel anywhere, anyhow, without knowing exactly what are we getting from those travels. There must be a foreign policy, because the guy telling Kenyans, Tony Ruto, stop traveling. He doesn't know how to stop traveling because there's no fiscal policy, there's no foreign policy. In America, a head of state cannot just travel anyhow because there's a foreign policy. When you leave, because traveling, American president being on air is a military operation. Remember, you will go with the presidential jet, what's called the Air Force One, isn't it? There will be other jets escorting you all the way. Can you imagine 9 jets escorting one plane in a flight of 16 hours? It's not cheap, isn't it? So you don't just wake up and go. So if we have policies in place, this taxation doesn't have to happen. So taxation is, Singapore has the lowest taxation in the world. And how do you lower taxation? These things are equal. Lower the government expenditure, lower taxation. Because we tax people to pay for government expenditure, which is unnecessary. Like I gave my figures today. It takes 1,625 guzzlers to transport the Kenya Kwanza government, because Gachagua has 30, Musalia has 15, all the ministers have 7 each, all PSS have 5 each, the Economic Council has 5. If you add together, those vehicles are 1,625. Now, they charge us 300,000 shillings per month to service, because Toyota Kenya charges every 5,000 kilometers you go, you are done. For example, if you go to Mombasa, for example, when you get your charter to go to Mombasa, the guzzlers will go by road, isn't it? That's like 500 kilometers, isn't it? Then after picking him and dropping him, then he takes the airport, then they travel back. That's around 1,000 done in a day, if at all it's going for 1 day. Can you believe me? Then they can even do more than that per month. You can see what I'm trying to say. So why do you need 30 cars? Who are you? I can even say, how many backtracks do you have really to sit on 30 cars? You just need few. If you believe you are elected by Kenyans and they love you, why must you move as if you are moving in a military operation? Why don't you just go with 2 cars? Kenyans love you. They want to see you. You said Kenya Kwanza, you said you are the people, you are for hustlers. Meet them, talk to them. Why should you be protected by 30 cars? So if you lower that one, you reduce taxes. Now, the other thing is too much printing in this area. They print everything. I'm sure you do tenders, isn't it? There is no tender that you can submit electronically. Then they say the digital government. You cut all that cost of paper. It's a lot. Now you're talking about saving the environment, and you're printing everything. Everything they print. So many things don't have to print it. Cut that cost. So there are too many unnecessary costs in government that are not needed. Too many duplication of office, too many duplication of functions. So you can cut the expenditure of government, then cut taxation. Then I'll give you a formula. There's a way you can bring the cost of living down. In fact, actually, I've done a formula where you can reduce the cost of unga to 105 shillings per 2 kg. And it means that if you just look at the the purchasing power formula, which means you take the consumer price index, you deduct from when it was at when unga was 105, you check there, you take the consumer price index, you might subtract what we have now, then do a percentage wise, then look at how the tax is affecting it, then reduce the taxes downwards. So many people eat that unga, then you collect tax in volumes, not in value. If you have more volume, not value per unit of tax, you'll actually collect the same amount of tax. You get my point? The consumption for fuel went down after taxation. Alcohol went down after taxation. Milk went down after taxation. Which means Kenyans started fasting your taxes. You know, when I don't eat I have not given you taxes today. And the economic formula I can give you here. Let me just give because I want nataka mwananchi wa kawaida nielewe vizuri. Niongee kwa Kiswahili?
Yes, ongea.
Saini kama mshahara wako ni 10,000, sivyo? 4,000 itakuwa ni ya kulipa rent. Sivyo? Alafu 3,000 ni ya chakula, kumaanisha unakula lunch 1,000, breakfast 1,000, dinner 1,000, sivyo? Alafu 3,000 imebaki ni ya logistics, pengine kulipa school fees, yani those other expenses, sivyo? Sasa mafuta ikipanda, kila kitu ikipanda, unaona kama rent huwezi punguza, sivyo? Sasa utabaki na wacha niendelee tu na rent ya 4,000, landlord hatasikia mambo ya taxation, sivyo? Alafu chakula utasema sasa wasifanya hivi, badala kukula wisu this in kibera, badala kula mara 3 wacha nikule mara 2. Hiyo inamaanisha nini? Utakuwa unakula lunch, utakuwa unakula breakfast na dinner, sivyo? Lunch unahepa. Sasa ile mama mboga ambaye anakupatianga lunch, je, atapata pesa namna gani? Na asipopika na akuzie na ununue, inamaanisha hiyo tax rais hajapata. Nani amekosea? Ndio maana you put stimulus in the economy. Stimulus, unaweka pesa kwa economy ili kila mtu akule. Na kila mtu akishakula ameshiba, wewe pia umepata pesa. Nimesema ukipeana unapata. Enda nyumbani sasa upatie bibi yako mapenzi. Uone kama kesha utaamka kama umepata mapenzi. Sasa ukipeana unapata. Even Jesus said, if you give you get. Sasa rais awache kuchukua tu apeane. Wakati wa COVID-19, we told President President Uhuru, give stimulus to the economy. Ili economy ya mke upate pesa. Alifanya hivyo. Kazi kwa vijana, kazi mtaani ilikuwa stimulus package. Mtu afanye kazi kidogo, apate pesa kidogo. Sasa hivi ukipatia kijana kazi, apate kazi ya shilingi 2,000 kwa siku, sivyo? Atakula almost 3/4 of that money kwa hiyo siku, sivyo? Hiyo pesa inakurudia asubuhi. Unaelewa? Kwa sababu mimi ningependa watu wajue ya kuwa taxation sio vile ukuza uchumi. Alafu uzalishaji inaendelea kupanda ukipunguza tax. Tax inafaa ufanye mambo mawili kama unataka kuendelea kiuchumi. Kwanza, kuongeza uzalishaji. Pili, kuongeza utumishi, consumption. If you tax in a way you use consumption, unaua uchumi. Ukitax in a way unapunguza production, unaua uchumi. Ndio maana namwambia rais, hizi formulas mbona David ndiye akwambia? Na nishasema bwana, sisi tunamwambia vibaya. David Ndii is not an economist. David Ndii is an economic activist. Kwa sababu gani? Ukweli. Alifanya economy yake kwa Road School on Oxford. Sivyo? Kutoka hapa alianza kuadvise people outside government. He was an economist advising Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. Then aliadvise Raila Odinga. Sivyo? Alafu baadaye akaanza kuadvise Ruto against Uhuru. Sasa all the advice kabla ya economic council ilikuwa against the government. Lakini kuna ile kujua kuadvise mtu against somebody na kujua kuadvise mtu ambaye ako ndani ya serikali. Sasa mimi nisha advise Greece economy, the pigs, Portugal, Italy, Greece and Spain. Nisha advise nikaturn the economy. I know how economy turns. Sasa nimwambia hata YouTube channel, nimwambia please Mr. President, divorce yourself from David Ndii and listen to people who know. Kwa sababu kuna kitu rais alikuwa nadhani anajua lakini hajajua. Ndio maana nafurahia akisema let's pull together. Pulling together, akuje kwetu sisi tunajua, tumwambie fanya hivi, fanya hivi, fanya hivi. Na hata si kama anitaki mimi lazima aniite. Joseph Kinyua alifanya kazi na Uhuru, sivyo? Joseph Kinyua is a good economist, amuite. Hata kama ni advice ya chai, amuite. Kuna watu wako hapo wanajua economy kuliko David Ndii. David Ndii ni activist na ego ndio mingi. Kiburi ni mingi kuliko Indian Ocean. Watoe hiyo kiburi, wasikize wa Kenya. Sisi tunataka rais mpendo afaulu. Ili hata kama sisi tunataka kuchukua hii serikali siku moja, tuipate kama angalau ni kitu ambayo haijakufa. Hatutaki serikali iingie kwa ICU ndio tunachukua serikali. Ndio maana tunataka afaulu.
Thank you very much for that. Tuongee kuhusu the price of fuel, which is a big issue in this country, these latter days. And as an economist, what could you tell our listeners about the what's causing the runaway price increment and what can be done to check that situation.
Kwanza, do you know, sisi hatutengenezei mafuta yanatoka nje. Na ikifika Kenya nafikanga kwa pesa ngapi? The last time I checked, mafuta ingia kata 97 shillings. Sasa for super to be 217, ni kama wanaongeza kitu kama 120 shillings ikishaingia. Sasa watuulize, hiyo 120 shillings nani anaongeza? Ile margin ya wenye wanauza mafuta ni kitu kama 3%, sivyo? Sasa waliongeza hii kitu inaitwa IPRA. Unajua IPRA? IPRA iliwekwa ili ipunguze bei ya mafuta, sivyo? Lakini badala ya kupunguza, IPRA pia wanaongeza ushuru yao hapo ndani ya mafuta. Wanakula hiyo, ukiweka kila mara ukichukua lita moja, IPRA pia inachukua kitu kama shilingi 4. Serikali inachukua kitu kama shilingi 85 shillings. Unaelewa? Alafu unasikia si mara reli levy, mara wiki levy, na hata hizi levy ni za nini? Sasa hizo levy mingi wameweka ni ukora tu ya kula pesa ya watu. Ndio maana nasema kwanza kubadilisha hiyo kitu, IPRA iende nyumbani. Those price calculation inaweza fanyika na computer. Kwa sababu wanasema because this has gone up, this is the price. Is that a computer can do that? Sasa kama uko dukani wewe unauza samosa, sivyo? Utaweka IPRA dukani ili mchele kipanda, IPRA inakwambia sasa hii mchele imepanda, sasa mimi nipatie shilingi yangu moja, si ni waste of time. Hiyo ni price calculation can be done with a computer. Mimi nikiwa rais leo, IPRA inaenda nyumbani immediately, sina kazi yake, hasijaona. Do you see the value of IPRA? Kusimama tu after 15 days ati mafuta imepanda. Kesho tena wanatangaza mafuta, si tangaze na computer. Computer can formulate those things na weke kwa website, sivyo? Na ifanyike immediately. It is adding cost, not reducing cost.
Yes.
Ingine nitafanya hivi, nitahakikisha ya kuwa nimepunguza ile taxes tunaweka kwa service providers ambao hatutaki wafanye services, kwa sababu ukiangalia wenye wana store mafuta, sivyo? Government can reduce the cost of storage of mafuta. Tuweke pipeline, cost of transport tupunguze chini, sivyo? Alafu ya mwisho tupunguze taxation. Ya mwisho tuache mambo ya government to government oil deals. That is a scam. A government haifai ifanye biashara ikishindikana na private sector. Wacha nikwambie, serikali is not efficient because this government is very expensive to run. Ndio maana 85% of our budget inaenda kwa return and expense. Sivyo? Serikali is expensive. Nakwambia magari wanatumia mara nini is expensive. So the government is efficient. So an inefficient government cannot do business kwa sababu inafanya mambo inakuwa gani. Waweke private sector wafanye hiyo biashara vile wanafaa wafanye. Alafu corruption. Cost of corruption. Uhuru Kenyatta alisema ya kuwa tunapoteza bilioni 2 kila siku. Tunataka Auditor General either akubali ama akatai. Afanye uchunguzi atuambie President Uhuru Kenyatta was wrong or he was right. Ama sasa imepanda kama 4 billion per day. Tujue kama imepanda ama imeshuka ama ni uongo. Wakenya bado wajui. In fact, this question is sasa corruption is very expensive. I told you today, the corruption index of Kenya is 32, meaning that we are number 137 in terms of most corrupt countries out of 180 countries. Kumaanisha tumeshinda wangapi? Only 43 countries tumeshinda in corruption in Kenya, in the world, in the whole of this world. Tumeshinda only 43 countries. Alafu, ease of doing business. Kenya is only better than Juba. Ease of doing business means kama unataka kutransport kitu, unaona hizo levies wameweka, kama hoteli sahihi. There are 19 levies and taxes you must pay to run an hotel. Sasa utajua, utaanza wapi?
Investors running away.
You have to put so many people, mtu anaangalia sijui mara food levy. Kuna food levy, kuna bed levy, kuna swimming levy, kuna all levies that hata unashangaa hizi nini sana, kuna pay as you earn, NHIF, NSSF. So, yani hata kazi yako ni kutengenezea serikali pesa na kuwapatia alafu nenda nyumbani bila kitu. Sasa tukifanya hivyo, Kenya is competing among other nations. Tusifanye biashara kana kwamba tuko sisi peke yetu hapa duniani. Kila mtu anakaa na anasema sasa niende Tanzania ama niende Ethiopia ama Kenya. Anaangalia front page ya newspaper. Fuel is to go up to 300 shillings. Okay, mkashini. To introduce land rates by 100%. They want to increase land rates 100 times higher land rates. Hiyo pia inakuja. Unasikia passports, IDs to go up by. Sasa ukisoma haya yote unasema okay, Kenya is very noisy, wacha mimi niende Ethiopia ama niende Tanzania. Sasa hizi ndio nafanya, alafu hiyo dola imeenda, dola haijapanda, ni shilling ndio imeshuka. Imeshuka kwa sababu gani? Imeshuka kwa sababu we are scaring foreign direct investment. Unajua kama kuna foreign direct investment inakuja in dollars. Unaelewa? Ikikuja in dollars, sasa tutaka kununua kitu kutoka nje tunatumia hiyo dola. Lakini kama dola haijatoka nje ikuje Kenya, lazima tuchukue Kenya shilling tubadilishe tununue dola, na hiyo inafanya depreciation inaenda juu sana. Travels. Rais akitravel kwenda US, hoteli analipa na Kenya shilling. Sasa kama na travel sana nje nchi, inamaanisha anatumia dola sana kwa mambo yake. Kwa sababu sasa hivi ukichukua ndege ushuke Germany, unafuel huko sivyo? Utafuel Germany, utafuel ndege na Kenya shilling. Sasa hizo ndio vitu ambazo zinafanya Kenya shilling zishuke. Unajua Kenya shilling ikishashuka umuhimu yake, tunasema the purchasing power of the Kenya shillings inafanya wenye wana import vitu wanafanya biashara kama mitumba ya viatu, nguo, nini, inabidi wanatumia pesa mingi sana kuleta hayo bidhaa hapa chini, alafu wanauzia wananchi kwa bei ya juu, na ile pesa mtu angenunua nguo abaki nayo, kama anataka kununua uniform, anataka kununua kiatu ya mtoto, anataka kununua kitabu, pia hiyo pesa ikienda shuleni sana. Ndio maana watu hana pesa mfukoni. Ukisikia pesa haitembei kwa sababu imeshikana mahali. Pesa yangu imeshikana mahali, nikopesha hapa, pesa yangu imeshikana mahali. Sasa kila mtu anakopesha, kila mtu pesa yake imeshikana mahali. Kwa sababu hii pesa imekuwa tight sana, hii mambo ya dola. Ndio maana ningetaka kuuliza Mr. Rais, tafadhali punguza travel. Ya pili, at least jaribu kufanya hii mambo ya attract investors, walete foreign direct investment hapa, ili dola iwe na nguvu. Kuna siku nilisikia Rigathi Gachagua wakatwete Kenya, wewe endelea kuhold hiyo pesa dola, tunachukua, utalia. Hatujalia bado, sisi tunaweka hizo madola. Ndio maana anasema rais anafaa akuwe na sisi, atuongee ukweli, we pull together kwa ukweli. Wajua hizi pull together na mtu ambaye anakuambia kila ambao huamini, tuaminiane na yeye, ili Wakenya wawe na tuseme na imani na yeye, na tuwe na amani na yeye, na tuwe na umoja na yeye, ndio tutaendelea. Lakini bila hiyo uchumi la kwa hivyo. Lakini ashasema let us pull together, let's hear him out. Akirudi atuambie hii pulling together ndio nini.
So, Prof, as we wind up, what do you say about what do you comment about the much hyped the Hustler Fund? Is it really helping the common man, or what do you say about it? Is it successful?
Yeah, Hustler Fund, bila tulisikia kisemwa, it was supposed to inject funds to bring economic activity at the lower the pyramid. Ili tupate mabiashara vilianzishwa na Hustler Fund. Mwanzo ulisikia kama mtu alisema nilianza kanunua kuku nayo, sasa niko na kuku 3, nikanunua mayai nikauza. Hizo biashara sisi ziko wapi? Mbona corporate tax inaenda chini na huku tuliweka Hustler Fund chini ili ilete biashara juu ilipe ushuru? Kumaanisha bottom up is not working. Sasa mimi ninauliza rais, a bottom up as economic model has never worked anywhere. Wacha nikwambie, nani ndio author wa bottom up? Si any economic model lazima iwe na author. Tulikuwa tunafanya hesabu kwa na Pythagoras theorem, sivyo? Pythagoras theorem was discovered by Pythagoras, sivyo? Sasa Solomonic economic model imeandikwa na Prof. OGOLLA. Imekuwa published by CC hapo, sivyo? Sasa bottom up imekuwa published na which publisher na which author, sivyo? Is based on which science. Kumaanisha bottom up ilikuwa wakati ya kujaribu kutafuta serikali. Ushaipata sasa. Kubali uweke kando ili tuambie sasa tutumie nini, kwa sababu Hustler Fund was based on bottom up economic model. Bottom up was supposed to make businesses in the bottom of the pyramid grow up. Haija grow up, so no one is working. Kila mtu alikuwa hiyo pesa. Secondly, ilifaa isiwe sunk fund. Alisema hakuna pesa ya bure. Ilifaa apeane watu na watu waregeshe, sivyo? So out of the 36 billion shillings alipeana kwa watu, imerudi to 15%. Kumaanisha Wakenya wampoteza from the taxpayers money 30.6 billion shillings imepotezwa. Kama imepotezwa hivyo, je, nikuulize inawa, kwa sababu unajua kama uko na bank una lend pesa, sivyo? So repayment is one way to know it's right. So Hustler Fund is not working. It has never worked anywhere. Alafu ya mwisho, Hustler Fund was supposed to have a Hustler board. It was supposed to have a secretariat. Nikuulize, who is the CEO of Hustler Fund? Do you know the board members? So Linda jamii ilienda kotini ikaambia watu Hustler Fund is illegal, na tukaenda kotini kasema the board members are not appointed, there is no CEO, there is no secretariat. All reports iko kwa Twitter, unasikia tu tumedisperse hii kwa Twitter, unasikia tu kwa Facebook, unasikia kwa TikTok. Sasa ukipoteza pesa utaenda vya mwisho. Watu wanaambiwa kuna percent ya kuwa safe, sivyo? Kwa which bank? Niambie tu mtu mmoja ambaye alikopesha Hustler Fund akwambia alitoa bank account gani. Walisema anakuweka kwa NSSF, sivyo? NSSF namba yako ni gani? Kumaanisha this was a scam, sivyo? Na tukubali tu, it's not bad. Hata Mungu anakuambia come to me those who are burdened. Ukishakosa Mungu atakusamehe. God will forgive him. And even Kenyans will forgive him if he asks for forgiveness. Then from there we move on. Let him learn like King David. King David said, God, you know me, you search for me. I'm a sinner. I'm a sinner before you. God forgive me, embrace me, accept me once more. The prodigal son story is there. I was lost, my father. I come back home. And nimekula na nini? Manguruwe. Nimerudi kwa nyumba ya baba. Rudi kwa nyumba ya baba. We'll embrace you, Mr. President. Lakini accept this was a mistake. Bila sisi pia watu wengine wanasema mistake. Then I would say this. Sisi wa Kenya, na nimeongea na Wakenya wengi. Wakenya wataki kuwa reminded about which decision they made to have William Ruto as their president. I've had so many leaders who are disappointed. In fact, they should not be called leaders, telling them, kuleni kiburi yenu. Wacha nikwambie bwana, nikikosea ndugu yangu Momanyi, alafu na kama nipo kwa hilo naambia nikule kiburi yangu. Si kiongozi anafaa nisaidie vile naweza toka kwa shida yangu, sivyo? Kama nilifanya makosa, mbona kuniadhibu kwa miaka 5? Ndio maana mimi sitaki, nasema Solomonic sio kupinga Ruto, Solomonic sio kusupport Azimio. Solomonic ni kuoffer solutions ambayo inaweza saidia watu wa Kenya. Ndio maana ya kwanza tuko na Peace Marathon. Linda Jamii Peace Run. To bring Kenyans together to run as a marathon, as a way to bring them together. Alafu pia watu watoe pesa kidogo kidogo kusaidia na wale ambao waliumwa wakati wa maandamano. Hiyo ni solution ama sio solution? Lakini ukiongea mambo ya Hustler Fund, mimi nakwambia tulishaipoteza. Alafu baada hiyo Peace Marathon tutaenda kwa wale ambao walifanya biashara zao zimeharibika, tuwapatie kacheki kadogo, sivyo? Wale ambao pengine waliumia, kwa sababu hapa Kisumu hiyo Lake Region kuna 9 people wako na bullet bado kwa mwili. Wanahitaji operation ya 250,000 shillings. Hakuna mtu atafanya hiyo. Yes, 250,000. Sasa Raila Odinga sasa wako Bomas. Sasa wako State House na Ruto, sivyo? Sasa wale ambao walienda kwa sisi wakapiga bullet, hakuna mtu anashughulikia, sivyo? Sasa Linda Jamii itawalinda. Sisi hatuna ubaya. Hata kuambia kuleni kiburi yenu mlienda kwa sisi, kwa nini? Sisi kazi yetu ni kusaidia mtu. Don't judge, cause judgment leads to God. Cause sisi binadamu kazi yetu imetushinda. Mbona tunataka kufanya kazi ya Mungu? Kama yako tu ya kusaidia bibi yako na watoto wakae pamoja imekushinda, unaambia be faithful, hawezi. Na huku unataka kuwa Mungu ya kujaji wale ambao wameenda. Sasa nasema sisi Linda Jamii tutalinda jamii unconditionally. Ulikuwa Kenya kwanza, ulikuwa Azimio, we will defend you unconditionally. Ndio maana unaona petition. Nilipeleka petition Mavoko kusema kwa mwenye walibwaliwa nyumba Mavoko walifanywa makosa kwa sababu walifaa wapewe 90 days notice kabla nyumba zalaitwa chini, sivyo? Sasa they should be paid. they didn't do environmental assessment, walifanya makosa. Kericho kuna watu walikufa, 13 people walikufa kwa mambo ya Green Stadium. Tunataka serikali iwalipe na contractor pia wapige fine pia walipe, kwa sababu hiyo ni makosa. Sasa sio ni Kericho kwa Ruto. Kisumu nimepeleka case, wale walipigwa kondele, waliwawa nini, throughout the country walipwe, sivyo? Niko na petition Kisumu. Siaya, my governor is stealing money from Siaya. Nimempeleka kotini kwa sababu mimi sina ubaguzi, kwetu sio kwetu. Mimi kazi yangu ni kulinda jamii. Wacha niwaleze kusema linda jamii kuna 3 principles. Partisan to the constitution. Kama uko sadi ya katiba tuko na wewe. Secondly, partisan to professionalism. You must do things in the right way you need to do. Thirdly, we are partisan to our faith. If you are a Christian, live like a Christian. If you are a Muslim, live according to the Quran. If you are a Hindu, live according to your faith. So if everybody remains professional, partisan to the constitution, then partisan to their faith, we shall know you. Hatutaki wale ambao wanakaa kama kondoo, sivyo? Lakini ni fisi. Tunataka mtu awe kondoo kama ni kondoo. Kila Mkenya akipata hayo ratiba, there will be decent enough to run this economy. Lakini kama kila mtu anataka utapeli, tunataka ungwana, decent. Alafu tunataka fursa kwa kila mtu kiusawa. Hakuna mtu atakuomba chochote. Hao vijana wanakuomba kwa sababu hawajapata fursa ya usawa. Wanakuomba kwa sababu they don't have a decent government. Aki-apply kwa kazi lazima ajue mtu mwingine. We want in Kenya, you apply, mtu anaangalia CV, si angalia jina yako. Anaangalia kwanza huyu jamaa anafanya okay, Momanyi acha kuweka mahali. Kamau. No, just look ni huyu kijana amefanya nini? Jina inakuja sasa nataka kuandika jina yake kwa payroll. Nasema kumbe ni Momanyi.
Asante sana bwana profesa. Mpenzi msikilizaji, tunafika tamati ya kipindi hiki na ukono ndio huo. Momanyi, kuna la kusema?
Prof, mimi nimeshukuru. Thank you for your coming. And for the very last time, as we close, tell our listeners how can they participate in this upcoming marathon.
So, how to participate in marathon? First, we have a paybill number, which I don't have the paybill number on my head, but we have a paybill number. So first of all, you can be able to donate anything. It can be 10 shillings, it can be 5 shillings, it can be 50 shillings, it can be 1,000, it can be 1,000,000, whatever. Donate it if you are an individual. For corporates, any money you donate to us, we give you equivalent of airtime with our media partners, which sometimes can be Pango Radio, or it can be KTN, can be Standard, it can be Nation, it can be anywhere. Alafu pia tunataka ukuje. Sio tunataka pesa yake. Ukuje ununua mesha na ununua t-shirt ya Linda Jamii Peace Marathon. Ukinunua hiyo t-shirt, kwa sababu t-shirt tukipokea 1,000, tuna pesa tutapata kidogo hapo tunaweza salia nayo mtu ili ukae na hiyo t-shirt na ukae na amani. Alafu ya mwisho ukikuja hiyo siku tutachukua kile tunasema covenant. Covenant ni ahadi. Tutabeba Biblia kama wewe ni Mkristo, tutabeba Quran kama wewe ni Muislamu, useme sitawahi kurusha mawe kwa polisi tena. We will never pursue anything political, economic or social using violence, because we are through economic liberation. Economy fears noise. Economy cannot happen when there is violence. We need peace and tranquility and stability. Mimi ni Mjaluo. Tunasema kwa Kijaluo, pesa oluoro koko means money fears noise. So, if we did first liberation with violence, second in violence, third cannot happen in violence, because it's like we're having a hammer, we're treating everything like a nail. So we have to change our mindset, because we cannot solve the problem with the same tools that created it.
Habari ndio hiyo, mpenzi msikilizaji, tunasema hadi wakati mwingine, tunasema bye kwa sasa.
Thank you Prof, for coming. Be blessed and we are with you and we work with you.
Please ensure that all your listeners come to the Linda Jamii Marathon. It will be very peaceful. We have actually set up in KICC. We shall cross the streets. All the police will be there to protect you and to cheer you as you run a marathon. It's not a physical marathon, but it's a mental marathon towards peace. From violence to peace.
Thank you so much. There you are, our listeners. You've heard what Professor said. So let's keep in touch and cooperate with him where possible. Thank you very much and bye-bye.
Thank you.